All right. Welcome to We Are Something Else, episode 88. Don't stand so close to me. It's me, your boy Kaleo. CB, Rich Superfly, we're all in here. What's good, fellas?
Hey man, glad to be hanging with the fellas tonight.
Definitely. We made it. One of us almost didn't make it. We'll get in that a little bit. E, what's good, brother?
Ain't nothing, man. Just out here processing this rain and cold weather in Southern California. You dig? But
Oh,
you know, uh, Tony lied to everybody. It does rain in Southern California. But now, other than that, it's good. It's better week than last week when it comes to the work, and it's Thursday, so we here.
all right. CB, you want to tell them about that weather we got
Yeah,
going on
E,
over
we
here?
appreciate y'all, man. Y'all sent us the goods.
Yeah, it
There
was
you go,
like
right there.
78,
There you go.
sunny. It was
Yeah.
it was fantastic today.
Last 3 days have been in seven. Been amazing.
Don't worry about it.
Superfly,
I seen what y'all Monday look like though.
it's okay. We're going to talk about it right now. Superfly, how you enjoying that nice 75-degree weather?
Hey man, loving it. Loving it. Spent a lot of time outside the last few days. You know what I mean? Nothing like kicking back and just, listening to nature and just the quiet and just, you know what I mean, taking that all in is in the sun, the vitamin E, right? That just set up right.
It was a little one up. There you go. I got you. See what you did there. Um, that's what's up. Yeah, man. I've been trying to enjoy it for the most part. So I'll update what's been going on over here. So I don't know if you can see the fans, but just literally 3 minutes ago, I was set up in a different location in my house. I had the TV behind me displaying a fireplace from YouTube. I had to do some kind of background because Tuesday night, um, plumbing issues happened in the house, and it took away one of the bathrooms, and it also I caught some water underneath my carpet, a little portion of my carpet. So I was able to figure out the algorithm of how long to shower, the ratio of shower to flush, to washing your hands, to washing dishes. It was ugly. It was ugly. So, you know, I reached out to a couple folks that I know, hoping they could help with the issue, looking for the hometown loving the discount, or, just trying to get my boys some work. And it didn't go that way. So this morning, after spending the whole 24 hours of without and having to deal with, we'll say, sewage, that'll change your mindset quick. And I picked up the phone and I called one of those commercial companies. I ain't gonna give them no props because they hit me with the no Vaseline. But as the work is getting done, I'm here. You guys just saw what the studio's looking like, so dedicated to the craft. But we're here.
Adulting.
And, yeah, exactly. Adulting. You can spend hours on that. Still bragging on. Oh, so I think everybody's here for this big announcement, right? I mean, we've been putting it out there for past couple weeks, months, years. I don't know, and it's finally here. But we still gonna make you wait for it because we got a show to do. So that's it. Let's wrap. Let's lead off. We're supposed to do a little special live. Well, no, we're not gonna do that. We're supposed to do a live over the weekend after viewing Coming to America. But here we are now. Let's do this now. I'll give my opinion because I've watched it twice now. Later, CB, what'd you think?
I actually enjoyed it. I went into it with the mindset of this was a PG-13, more family-oriented movie than the first. And so it really ended up feeling like the movie wasn't so much about Eddie as it was about the son. Like that's how I felt first time through. And there were some parts that I was laughing pretty hard, but you knew it was going to be a different experience than the original.
Absolutely.
So after the show, you know what I mean, we all knew it had premiered early, so it was 11 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm old, so I was already tired, you know what I'm saying? But as I was turning it on, I just had this like plaster smile on my face because I couldn't believe, you know what I mean? Like after I've been watching this movie since I was a child. So, you know what I'm saying? The fact that it was like a family friendly version, like I was already too young to be watching the first one and just had no, I really didn't have any expectations going into it and haven't seen it so many times. Like like I know it's not like it is my favorite movie. It is not a good movie. You know what I mean? Like in sort of like movie writing pantheon. You know what I mean? It's just comedy in that joint. And so like that's kind of how I went into it. And because I was tired, I fell asleep through some of it. And so I went to rewatch it. And that's when I started appreciating. And just like the original, it's a movie that you can just watch over and over and you pick up things in it that you just didn't see before. And that's kind of the brilliance of it, I feel like, of the first one. And I appreciate it about this one that you can continue to watch it. I had a ball watching it and just, I can't wait to watch it again when I get some time. It's a movie that's just it's not family friendly enough where I can show my kids yet. You know what I'm saying? But it's, I look forward to the day we can all watch it together.
You talking about the first one, the second one, or both?
I mean, both of them really, but you know what I'm saying? I can't show that bathtub scene yet. Not ready for that.
Eve.
No expectations, which led me to just watch the movie for what it was. It was a good comedy, and I think that's just where I'll leave it at. It was a good comedy. Not that I was looking for it to be anything close to the first one, but the fact that you can write not even a sequel, but an addition this many years later, incorporate the same players that you had in there before, as much as you can, right? Add new ones and still have the cohesiveness to like make it a funny movie. I watched it with the parentals, and you talking about just different scenes that regardless you gonna crack up, and it's because of the punchlines that
he just killed it with the cute comment. Murdered it with the cute comment.
You already know who that is, so we don't need to speak on that. But I think that's what it is at the end of the day, right? It's like it was nostalgia for us, right? As far as that scene, the first one, it was, and because it was that, we were still able to identify the good comedy that was in there. Of, like I said, Arsenio in itself, like that old ass character that he was, like whatever that was, it was enough for me to just be on the floor, like, because it was
the African guy, like the voodoo guy.
They were like, whose auntie is this?
Right. You know what I mean? Like, it was enough in the movie that you can sit there and say, I can watch this movie again and I'm not going to be disappointed. There's other movies that, regardless of who's behind it, has that expectations that kill it. And then at the end of the day, it's not even worth you watching again. This is one where you can sit there and be like, it's a rainy day. Well, not here in LA, but somewhere else. And I can't go nowhere, and I'm going to be able to, I can pop in Coming to America too, and I'm not going to be mad at it. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to satisfy my comedic need for the moment.
Facts.
Yeah, I'm on the line with you, Superfly. The first one is just it's culture. I mean, if you think of hip hop culture and embedded into like, you're just DNA, that is the first Coming to America. I know it from beginning to end, lines, to the point where you would think that if you know a movie like that in and out, it would still be funny. But it is, every time you watch it, you can just pinpoint one single part and just how classic that portion of the movie is. I mean, to the point where when he goes out on the boat, it's literally a fish out of water movie. Like, you got this proper guy from Africa who's rich, and he goes to one of the most gutter places he can find with the culture is complete 180 to what he's used to. And it just is magic. Like I think John Landis wrote that first one. He definitely directed it, I believe. And I mean, just the balcony scene when he's "Good morning, my fellow Americans," like that, and then it's just, hey, fuck you, that is a classic line. It's just DNA. It's embedded. So my expectations, because it's always on TV, and it's heavy in rotation. Um, the excitement was there, and it had been building, and we knew it went through the rumors of, oh, is it going to happen? Not going to happen. Then when you hear, oh, they're filming, and you see the pictures of their set and Bad Boy set filming at the same time, they're taking pictures, like, that it's getting there. So the hype is there for me. Like, I'm building it up for myself. Okay, then the rating came out, and I mentioned the rating. And so it put me in a different mindset. But I think first time I watched it was right after the show at 11:30. I watched all the way through, but I went back to watch it again because I knew I missed some things, and I couldn't give a real divisive answer after the first watch. But I think it's more family oriented for sure. I mean, and you can't tell the same story. He's not a fish out of the fish out of water this time is the son, the mother, and the uncle, right? And then he's got Eddie's. Akeem has 3 daughters at this point, so it has to. The movie has to shift and rotate around that, right? You can't be a king at this point. 3 daughters, a wife, and tell that same story. So once I got my mindset out of it's not going to be the first movie. 30 years later, we all have to evolve after 30 years, right? And it was Black excellence. Like, it told a good story of a strong family and how even today's society, he brought his son in. The mom came in as well, like, and there was no rift. Like, they all got along, and I appreciated that the second time around.
How about his pops like throwing his funeral while he was still alive? Like, it's shit like that. That's just that's funny. You know what I'm saying? And it goes back to all the, like, you see those crazy funerals where they had a dead body just posted up somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's little things like that, like how they made fun of the Jerry curl. You know what I'm saying? They slide in little things that you just don't don't pick up on until you watch it again. Like, oh shit, like.
Right. So they brought up a good point about cameos. Did you feel like there was too many cameos?
No.
Right.
That was like some of my favorite parts, being like, oh shoot, they got him in here. Oh, she's in here. Like, to me, that was part of the entertainment.
Right. It was like, and on the joke, that was part of the joke to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many people?
Morgan Freeman was hilarious.
Gladys Knight. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of wonder if they making fun of Versus in that. You know what I'm saying? Because they just they're just throwing whoever they can into the movie, and that's kind of the same kind of thirst that Versus has a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just little stuff like that I think is just funny.
Yeah,
I like like you said, when you really look at it, like when he was when the son was in the office and he was talking to the dude and he was asking him, oh, your daddy, and then it's the Randolphs, right? And then it's like this is the piece where you're like, this is what ties the movie together for the people who've seen the first one, that still like have that nostalgia moment of they can still play around with those type of things from the first one and bring it in. And again, because they did that, right? They had them, the bums, you know what I'm saying? It was like, Mortimer, we're back a lot. And it's like the fact that you can tie that in. And for us, that's like a mind-blowing moment where you're just like, bro, like they still, like they didn't lose it. And to what you said, Cleo, here's the thing. This is probably out of the so many that actually happened, there's only one other movie that really stayed true to the addition of how many years it's been, and the characters actually matched the years. And that was Halloween about 3 years ago. Jamie Lee Curtis was older. Mike was older. The whole entire scene, as far as the doc was older. So it made you even lock in more to be like, I believe this, compared to like, come on, like, that Shorty's not 12. She's not 21 still. Like, he's still not, Mike's not chasing down anybody that fast. Like, it's going to take him a little bit longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And shout out to the guy who played the son. He, from DC, he went to Northwestern High School. Shout out to that guy. I mean, and Ayanna Crawley was in the movie too. She's from DC. I think Eddie did a great job bringing people together. I mean, yeah, Rick Ross was in. I could have did without that, but I mean, you're using a man's house what you
Right. That's
expect.
just a W for him.
But
You
yeah,
know what I'm
what you
saying?
expect, right? Even if you have one line, I think Wesley Snipes did a great job. Like, people forget Wesley was comedy before he got into, the more serious stuff. Like, what White Man Can't Jump to the Wong Fu, like that's Wesley. Arsenio and Eddie, they great they're great combo together.
Leslie, you can't
Uh,
leave Leslie.
and I
She
feel like they had to dial Leslie back for that PG-13 rating. I would love to see the outtakes.
I think
'Cause
Leslie killed it, and even really Colin Jost, like salute to him, man. He only had that one scene, but he was funny as shit in that joint. And I want to see him in more movies, honestly. I know that's the only white dude we really gonna talk about in depth. You know what I'm saying? In the movie of Black Excellence, but Colin Jost did his thing in there.
Right. And they did a good point, good part, like revisiting some of the jokes from the first one. We had the Oha singing a song, and when I realized what he was singing Princess Get
Prince.
Off. I was dying laughing at like 11:45 at night. It was like 12 o'clock. I was dying just because it's like, oh, I didn't see that one come. I thought we was gonna get the She's Your Queen to Be again. And then the fact, just like you said, small nuances that Wesley was the brother of the girl he was supposed to marry in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't like Akeem because he put the curse on his sister. The fact that 30 years later she's still barking like a dog and hopping on one leg until he told.
Did you notice that his hair kept changing? Was that me, or did his hairstyle change?
Oh, Wesley.
Yeah, Wesley's hairstyle kept changing. Like
it was that way because I think that's a nod to, I've seen it before where the dictator always has some outlandish hair thing where like he had like the cornrows was like in a swirl, and the next one like laid back. It was like, bro, this dude. But again, and to be honest with you, Wesley probably had the best acting as far as like on screen. He was the best actor, right? He played the hell out of that role to the T. I feel like he's always been that way. But again, like you said, it was a great combination. It was a great mixture. You can't have that many actors to have that high level and be on there, and somehow you figure out it's either not going to work or it just doesn't have that chemistry. And for what it was great chemistry for that type of movie.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm shocked that Eric LaSalle turned the movie down. He said he was busy. That's Soul Glow for a lot of people who don't know who Eric LaSalle is. But he turned it down. I don't know. Maybe he's been. And then they didn't play on the sister. John Amos was funny too, but I wonder if they never touched base on what happened to the sister. I mean, that's small stuff, but yeah. Other than that, it was
too in the first.
Right.
I had a crush on her, like I don't know what, as a kid.
So I got a question. So real quick, we make it quick before we move on. Name one thing that you would have added to the movie.
That's tough.
I mean, I got mine, and
I would like to have seen more New York. You know what I'm saying? Like they could have done some stuff with the gentrification, or you know what I'm saying, just some more comedy around that. Mm-hmm. I think that's the one thing that I thought could be different.
You got it.
I would have liked to see it. Maybe again, it probably might be reaching, but instead of and they could have still had Tracy as the uncle. But I felt like the son should have had the sidekick like Simi, where it would have kind of been the intertwined
full circle.
Well, not a full circle, but you would have seen like that. Say if they could have found somebody to have that type of comedic connection with him, like his sidekick, that would have kind of been the same Simi, it's his Simi to whatever. Then I felt like that would have been a dope piece to kind of play off of, because I feel like that was missing of somebody in his ear where they create the story behind the girl, you know what I mean, who was the one that kind of got him to where he was at. But to have that other Simi, it would have been that kind of, this is the resemblance of the two.
Right. And real quick, Arsenio, I don't know if I mentioned the last one, but Arsenio had said that there were like several liner notes written by different directors of how their take on what the sequel should be. And this is the one that Eddie handpicked himself, but apparently the guy who does the Boondocks wrote a liner note.
Aaron McGruder.
Yeah, Aaron McGruder wrote his version. Ryan Coogler apparently had a version. There was went through a couple different hands, as people trying to put their spin on where Akeem and Simi were and Lisa were 30 years later. But it makes sense again that Eddie picked this one. It's still adult comedy, but it's family oriented. I think I rewatched
Also,
Dolomite.
the dude from Blackish is actually wrote the joint, right? Like, or finished the writing anyway.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I went back to watch Dolomite right afterwards too, I was like,
damn,
that,
you ain't getting no sleep. Like,
no, not the same night, but within the same week. I just felt like, that was the Eddie
That
we
would
were
have been
going to get,
crazy.
but it's still funny, still good enough.
He'd have been sleeping on that couch.
you know,
They hear the generation, the daughters had a big, yeah. And that was another play on like modern times, like, women getting there finally to just do.
Mhm.
The McFlurby, that was funny.
I
Right.
thought Lisa and I thought the whole New York vibe that they had together was hilarious. When they're
Mhm.
getting like wasted together.
That
Like
was
I
funny.
thought that was real funny.
Yeah.
Just because they could have gone other ways with that relationship, and the way that the way that it went, I thought that they hit that out of the park.
Oh, yep. So I put this in our list to talk about, but I couldn't find the interview to kind of get all the facts on it. I saw a lot of the highlights. And
Seen a lot
I
of
got a couple
memes.
comments from people. Yeah, I seen a couple comments. People were saying that they don't really care that got a billionaire interviewing a millionaire, rich people problems kind of thing. I've heard that take. But then my question is, who doesn't do research? You got to know the family you're marrying into. These people, the racism has always been surrounded by the royal family, or just that regalness up there, over there. So how do you not know what you're getting involved in? Right. So like I said, I didn't really watch to have a good liner notes, but I just know that this was a big topic throughout the whole, and it's still going. Did any of you guys watch it?
Hell no. Like,
I definitely nah. It was one of those things where I didn't even know it was happening until I got on the timeline, and
yeah.
people are talking about it. But that's not, I'm generally not looking for who Oprah is interviewing, or what's going on with the royal family. But it is one of those things where it should just go to show that it doesn't matter what your status or how much money you have. Like these problems with racism and all this kind of stuff it still exists. You know what I mean? So
That's what we'll do.
it's not a surprise. The for how small the UK is compared to the United States, like they're heavy on the racism out there. Like it's crazy. So it's still sad every time something like this comes up again, because we know that it's still a long ways away from being out of our everyday lives.
That's what we'll do. Roya is definitely a historian, so we'll get her on and we'll have her talk about it.
Nah, it's not cute enough. But I think I caught pieces of it, but I really think the moral of it is, if you will, shout out to and RIP to Princess Diana. Like, I think she tried to normalize what the royal family should have been as far as the treatment of the regulars, right? The difference between us peasants and the royal family. She was if you look at it, the reason why people like her so much, the fact that she's the icon that she was because she was actually there to normalize who she was, right? Like, to show all the stuff that you can do in that type of position. You only hope that's exactly where, Harry got it from. And that's just the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one of those things where, it's not on our side. It's not us to worry about. We over here worried about the Obamas and making sure they straight. You know what I'm saying? And the Bidens. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to make sure our home front is good to go. We ain't got nobody over there talking about, damn, I had to get out of America because they was worried about what my kid was gonna look like. We already been there. It's still there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Right. Yeah, we'll have to once I dig in a little deeper because I really don't have. I just took the liner notes of what's been going on, and with the topic. And I know the guy. I don't even know he walked off his show because he's huge super war.
Piers Morgan.
Oh yeah, Piers Morgan.
Yeah, Piers Morgan. Okay.
It's a continuation of 2021. I mean 2020, man. Everything's just becoming clear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then of course everybody watches what Oprah has to say. That's that. All right. Another cash in, right? For undisclosed amount. But this cash in is a little different. So for those who've been under a rock the past year, we've had this thing called Versus, and Superfly actually mentioned it a few minutes ago. Swiss Beats. It started with Swiss Beats and Timberland getting on IG Live and just playing some of their hits against each other. And I don't even know if there was a picked winner ever, between them, but they started this thing, and then all of a sudden it became a thing. So once a month, I think we got, or maybe twice a month, we got artists, pinning their hits against each other, and it was just a feel good vibe. We're all at home, and it started with obviously Babyface. Well, Babyface and Teddy was the big names that they originally got. It became Team Too Much with Teddy, and they had to redo it, but they've come a long way. The sound got better. Apple picked it up or whatever, but they cashed in this past week and they sold it to Triller. But the dopest part about the deal is that they got stake in Triller, and they're giving 43 artists that have been on Versus thus far. So they created ownership for people who probably don't need it, but they've created ownership for and given back to those people who did the Verses and believed in them. So I thought that was dope. How do you guys feel about that?
It sounds like decent business. You know what I mean? And Versus is one of those things that I think has come to define or been one of the defining things about quarantine and being at home, because it became one of those social events where everyone's in the comments together. It was a way for people to start getting together, even though we couldn't physically be together. That's how I felt. So, I mean, it's dope that it got to that point for them. And Triller they're dipping their hands in everything right now. So, if that's where the money's at, go for them.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I think it's good business. Just try and monetize your content. You know what I'm saying? It's better than giving it away for free on Instagram.
Yep. I mean, at the end of the day, you push a bag to get another bag. You know what I mean? To open that door for something else. And if because of the following that was created off of that, and we see that we push the culture, right? So they can literally use that bag and whatever else to now create something else that then gets us into another door or to another lane. And I think that's what it's all about, right? Everybody's cashing out to then jump into something else to now create another lane for us, right? It's like that, we're kind of slowly starting to push open the ones that then we're entering in and making our own lanes from that, and I think that's what it's really all about at the end of the day. Also, we didn't even talk about the D'Angelo and friend.
Yeah, that John was official.
Even though.
Yeah, D'Angelo's that was a good Versus. So I don't know if you guys know the story behind that one. It was supposed to be D'Angelo versus Maxwell on Valentine's Day. That was the Versus, and then they couldn't get Maxwell's side together. I don't know what the cause of it was, but Maxwell didn't do it, and D'Angelo still wanted to do it. And I mean, it was how often do you get a free concert of D'Angelo on TV? In your living room.
Him and
that coat. I think that was something I had to pudge. He's not the same D'Angelo he was.
It's not the same anymore. Not all these years later.
DJ Scratch killed that Joe too, man.
Oh
like
my God,
the pre-show and then just the execution of a show like in the perfect way, transitioning in and out of songs. Like that was there was one point when they brought Redman and Method Man on, and he had actually started the song early, so then he had to like loop it manually. He was just cutting back and forth while they was rapping in order for the chorus to not come in. So to do that stuff on the fly and then still bring it in seamless, like, you know what I mean? It's a DJ's DJ, man. So I you know what I mean, utmost respect for him.
He's a professional.
Absolutely.
He kept telling them this ain't everybody can't do this.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Now, I appreciate that versus, and I think that versus is getting ready to go to another level. Roy just posed a good question. Will we still care when the world opens back up? Well, I think I will. It's still a thing, and maybe they know. Maybe that's why they cashed out, because they know vaccine is out. You know, at some certain point, Timbo is going to go back to producing full time. Swiss is going to go back to doing what he's been doing. You know, scheduling is going to be different, so why not give it to a company that can kind of take the reins? You know, that's their thing, and you know, still make money off of it.
I think this is, you know, I think permanently people are gonna be moving differently. You know what I mean? Clubs are gonna come back, people are gonna be going out, but people also will be wanting to stay in sometimes to do, you know what I mean, the virtual thing. I think that's something that's probably not gonna go away. But I do think it makes sense to do it now before everything fully opens back up. But the concert, like a concert in your house, you can't beat that. You know what I'm saying? They were doing that on YouTube with Coachella and stuff like that. But the way, the intimacy and the chat functionality, like that, I think that's with us for good, and it should be.
Yep. Oh. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hold on, real quick. Hold on. Go-Go's. If they Go-Go's, virtual Go-Go's, if that like becomes main, you know what I'm saying, something that they continue doing, I would love that. Sorry.
I did see that. Biden just promised that
There you
they
go.
will be able to. Yeah, he's. I mean, it's happening. It's happening. I mean, the world is picking up. I mean, to the point where, you know, Larry Hogan, the governor of Maryland, just, you know, allowing everything to open back up, still with mass protocols, but that, you know, it still is going to fall on per county. But at this point, I mean, if PG County doesn't open back up, I can go to Charles County party if I want to. You know, they come
It's
back
gonna
to
be
the
all
PG.
about personal choice. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? No matter what the government says you can and can't do, everybody's got to make that decision for themselves.
Right. And it's just a matter, like I said, personal choice and still be smart. You're gonna have the people, you know, out there doing their thing, which good, you know, goes right into this. So Sunday we had the All-Star game in Atlanta. So I don't know what's more of the talk here of what's going on in Atlanta, or, you know, that we got an All-Star game. I will start with this. I did see Atlanta is wild. I did see a couple IG lives. I can't remember who went live, but they were in like a 5-star hotel, and the guy went around and showed, you know, white people eating and, you know, just spending their good money in this place. But in the background, there were like 8, 9 dudes shooting dice
Gilly
in the middle of the Gilly. That's who it was, in the middle of the restaurant. Did y'all see that?
Yeah, you can. I'll lightly say you can always count on us. To say the least, like you can always count on us. Like it is what it is.
Yeah. And I did see the strippers getting out of the U-Haul van at the gas station. It was like 4 different videos. It was them at the gas station. There was like videos inside the U-Haul. Then they got pulled over by the cops. Like, Atlanta is wild. Like, I've been there a few times, and that's enough for me. Like, I skip right over that next time. I don't need to go. How y'all feel about the All-Star game? Are y'all satisfied by it being on just one night? Did that suffice?
I mean, you know, we know the dunk contest isn't what it used to be, and that like kind of puts a damper on it. But 3-point contest was dope.
Yeah. Oh, Steph owned that night. That was Sunday night belonged to Steph.
He had the
And
most fun.
right. And he won the dunk contest because the dude called the oop. People forgot Steph could dunk. So I would have gave him the trophy just for that alone.
Listen, just to see Steph and Dame on the same squad, and I feel like they could have pretty much they could have had their own team and they would have won. You know what I mean? Like just Giannis, I feel like Giannis was pushing too hard. Like you could tell he was out from the break trying to get the MVP, which I never like. You know, usually it kind of goes with the flow of the game, and then you kind of can say, who is it? Because if Giannis wasn't pushing, then it was for sure going to be Steph, just because of the way he was out there like hooping. So, but it was what it was. It was a game. You can tell LeBron was not, he wasn't into it. He was there just to be there.
One and done.
Yeah, there to be there. But again, like you said, it's I think Super Bowl, I said it's like one of the things that we'll watch, every year because of just the festivities that it brings. The celebrities, even though, it wasn't a lot of people there. The dunk contest was whack. I'm just gonna be the one to say it. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It was whack. I don't think any of them should have won because there was a couple of good ones, but ultimately, that there was other dunkers in the league that could have been in part of that just decided not to.
Thank you, D Wade.
Yeah.
Yeah, the judging was terrible. And we know like all the great dunk contests that we can think of, literally outside of Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, because those aren't two superstars. But when we think back to, MJ and Dominique and Vince Carter, like that's the kind of stuff that stands out, and we are not getting that nowadays. You don't have the big time like Zion. You don't have him doing it. That would be like the young dudes that have the hype. You want to see like Ja Morant and those guys in there. But if they're gonna just be able to turn it down every year and there's no incentive for them to do it, like I don't. It sucks, but you probably got to do away with it.
Real quick. So LeBron's issue was he felt that they shouldn't have All-Star game on a shortened season with a heightened playing schedule. And then also just because of COVID, that you put all your superstars in one room, and all it takes is one person testing positive, and you're talking about pretty much all of your stars being wiped out.
It almost went left with the barber and Joel and Ben Simmons. Like that's all. That was the same thing that was about to happen in the Super Bowl with their barber and who got their haircut. So it's like, you're right. You risk that situation, and that could have been everybody on the court, and that would have just been it. Like, just go ahead and cancel a good season while everybody else is opening up. The NBA is just just out. So,
and then LeBron is the Lakers had the shortest resting period before the season started back up, and him being 36, it's probably something he could have did without. And they don't even get the whole break. It's just like a added unnecessary game in a schedule of this back-to-backs almost. I will say All-Star Saturday night was what got me hyped about All-Star weekend, and I know why it had to be on one night, which is fine. But just the ambiance, All-Star Saturday night, is what makes All-Star weekend feel good. NBA does it different than anybody else. Baseball, you get the home run derby and all that, but I think NBA has the formula. I would love to see if the dunk contest is getting old, then they should let people, those famous street dunkers in, maybe get some of those guys to face some of your favorite dunkers in the NBA.
They do the coaching for the dudes that end up competing anyways, so it's like, yeah, just bring those dudes out. Like, do the whole Dunk King concept that they've done a few times? Like, that's dope.
Yep. The bag is in. The bag is in, right? It happened. A lot of people thought it wouldn't happen. It happened. Dak got his payday. We're talking about 4 years, 160 million, 126 guaranteed.
Ooh,
75 million the first year, a $66 million signing bonus.
get it.
Averages about 42 million a year. And I mean, Jerry had to do
And he's
something,
in
right?
Texas.
Jerry, it hurt Jerry to pay the bag to him. I know it did, but you got to. What are you going to go off of? You got your team is, from what everybody's saying, they're there, they're ready. Everybody's saying Dak is the leader of the locker room. They're pretty much take a bullet for Dak. Just pay the man, keep the locker room what you can keep, and then see where it goes. I mean, you look like you got something to say.
I'm not speaking on nothing the Cowboys got going
Well,
on.
no, just say, is
No,
he
no.
worth that contract? Is he worth the contract?
I think he's putting the work to receive a long-term contract. Yes. And I'll put it to you like this way. I guess more so my thoughts. Michael Irvin, what do you say about Dak as far as Tom Brady? Like, I know you made the correlation of like that's their Tom Brady. Is that what he said?
I didn't hear all that foolishness.
Oh, I'm just letting you know.
Mike used to do a lot of substances. You know what I mean? Like
a lot.
I get look. I think what it is. Like, no, shit. I'm never gonna shit on anybody getting their money because everybody should get it. You know what I mean? Especially when you put the work in for it. And like I said in the text, I believe that they're going to build the defense through the draft, maybe free agency, but I still feel like they got to get rid of that America's teams tag because they're not America's team. So just
right. And Quintapo brought up a good point. Yeah, if you're watching now, please like and subscribe. Thumbs up that video. That's a good point, Quintapo.
He is not on, by the way.
So what?
Not on payroll. Why he'd say that?
That's fine. That's a good result. Yeah. And he got paid coming off of a broken ankle. I mean, you couldn't afford to franchise tag him again because the guarantee was $37 million this year. I don't know.
They were saying that basically Jerry's just alluding to a massive TV deal that's going to be coming in. So it's one of those things where if that's true, these teams are making so much money without there even needing to be fans in the stands. Like they make so much money just off the TV deals. Like I've made an argument before that if there was some kind of relegation system or, you take away the way that they do the profit sharing, like if you actually have to make your money because your team is good and you're actually trying to keep fans and stuff, it would be one thing, but that's not, our system out here. So all the owners, they're in the green before the season even starts. So for a lot of them, they don't care how good their product is on the field. And those are the teams that, you're not going to see paying out. But I think Dak earned it's the economics of the game right now. So based off of what he's done, and that team was trash without him, if we're being honest. Like the division was weak. Shout out to the football team, but it's hard to argue that Dallas wouldn't have been in the thick of it if Dak had been healthy the entire time.
Yeah, I don't care. No. I mean, pay the man. He's your quarterback. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like based on franchise tag, they probably, paid him what, 5 to 10 million more than what they would have paid him if they franchise him over the next couple of years. So, you know what I'm saying? I think it just makes sense. You know what I mean? And you're not going to get his output from anybody else. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to draft his output, so you might as well just.
And they got lucky where they drafted him too, because he wasn't like one of their top 2 quarterbacks that year. It's the same, like literally since Troy Aikman, they've lucked into Tony Romo, undrafted free agent, and then they ended up with Dak, who was not the dude at the top of their wish list, and he ends up being the last like quarterback from that entire draft that's still on the team that drafted him.
And I watched Dak in college. He was good in college.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Tony Romo thing. Tony and Dak, they would luckily be back to back kind of thing, right? Because before that, you had Vinny Testaverde, you had the Chad Hutchins,
Quincy
you had
Carter.
Quincy was on his way to being good, but he couldn't keep his nose clean, literally. And Bill Parcells had to cut him because he failed a random drug test, and they said it wasn't marijuana. That's what all they disclosed. Quincy was getting ready to go into a big year with the Cowboys, and Vinny Testaverde, then Drew Bledsoe. Chad, like it was so. Go ahead.
Well, I guess kind of a question that's off of this though. Should they get rid of franchise tag?
Yeah, that's all that is a benefit for the owner, man. Like I don't care. Like I'm all for more power to the players, but the franchise tag is literally not allowing these dudes to not necessarily just get the bag, but this is the careers are so short in the league nowadays that if the franchise tag still might be below their fair market value.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is getting the bag, but also like Allen Robinson in Chicago, if he doesn't actually like necessarily being in Chicago, he shouldn't have to stay in Chicago if his contract is up. You know what I mean? So I think that it's especially in the NFL with the type of game that it is and the shortened just careers that they have compared to some of the other sports, to be able to take away basically a year towards or 2 years towards getting a potential deal. The dudes that are generally getting hurt off of this are basically anybody that's not a quarterback. You know what I mean? Because the quarterbacks can have like the GOATs have these really long careers, but most players in the league, they're in and out. And a lot of them, they're fortunate to make it to the end of that first deal. But the thing is, if you're really good, you're still going to have to wait.
Right. So Elena alluded to this. Silk Sonic. Real quick, before we get to that, did I say we had a major announcement getting ready to happen in a couple of seconds? It's coming, y'all. I appreciate everybody still here, but the announcement it's getting ready to happen. But let's focus on the Silk Sonic. For those who don't know who Silk Sonic is Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, two of probably dopest artists of our era or our time right now, currently out. And they are pairing together finally. I mean, they've done music together, they've written together, and they've got an album coming out, Silk Sonic, narrated by Bootsy Collins. They dropped their intro and then their first single, Leave the Door Open, over the week. It's amazing. Have you guys listened to it?
I have. And I mean, it's those two together, it's a whole vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've listened to it. For me, I'd rather I'm a Anderson .Paak fan more than I'm a Bruno Mars fan, and I want a little bit more Pac and a little bit less Bruno. You know what I'm saying? Bruno, he can sing and everything, but it's not, his music is very kind of reductive, or it's another word I can't think of, but it's kind of like imitation of something you already heard. And that's kind of what I was getting from this first song. Whereas like Anderson's going to give you something that, you know what I'm saying, for the most part, you're not really going to hear, you know what I'm saying? And I like that. So I want to see, what else they do with it. I think it'll be a good collaboration, and, but let's see what they do.
I listened to it once and I was in my workout bag. So I was like, I'm not about to listen to this again. So, or I just came off a workout. So I was like, yeah, no, that was not the time. So I got to give it an ear just without any outside distractions, and just kind of listen for it. I mean, I'm sure, like I said, sonically, I mean, you know, just because you put two good artists together doesn't mean that you're gonna have a dope collab. But you know, it's just like super. I'd rather see the rest of the. I'd rather see the rest of the catalog as far as what's on the album to see, you know, and there's not every song you're supposed to like. So
I want to
Roy
see Pat
Hayden?
get that bag. You know what I'm saying? I love to see him go pop. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
other than that, like I'm really, yeah, Bruno just doesn't do it for me from a, you know what I'm saying, from a like creativity and, you know, it, like I said, everything he's done, it sounds like something I already heard somebody do.
But Roy is just bringing up the fact that he's short.
Damn.
So this leads to my question. We can spend a little time here. I think you've already given your answer, but my question was, are these two the best collab duo you've seen?
no,
You know, when
That's
you
not even with
no.
Anderson. Like I think No Worries is doper than, you know what I'm saying? And that's on
that's
some
that's
underground
knowledge.
stuff. But
That's knowledge in Anderson,
yeah.
correct? Yeah. Okay. So that's my question. If these aren't two the best collab duo, people to get together do album, who are? I mean, I've got a list of people that have teamed up to do an album together, and the idea sometimes is bigger than the album. You know, that could be the situation here. The idea is bigger than the album. But we've got the Jay and R. Kelly, you know, was that the Track Masters who did most of that album back then? They were doing songs left and right together. Then I think the first one was okay. Best of Both Worlds, I think it was okay. I went to the tour, by the way, but I think R. Kelly's issues kind of killed that album and they couldn't promote it right. Then you had, I think R. Kelly and Birdman were a group together at some point. They did an album.
We can't keep talking about R. Kelly, man. We got.
Well, no, we've got to get. I'm just of people who joined together. I mean, we had Jay and Kanye. I mean, the Watch the Throne duo was actually pretty dope.
Jay and Lincoln Park.
Jay and Lincoln Park. Who are some of you guys? Who would you think was the best collab?
It's a good question because, you know, when we think of collabs, but then there's also with music, you have groups, and you know, it's hard to come out and compare these guys yet without hearing a full project and everything. But
right.
In recent years, like in the last number of years, I would say the most memorable is probably Watch the Throne that I can think of. You know, from just in the status in the game of having Kanye and Jay on an album together, you know, doing that whole thing.
Yeah, I wish I had this question before the show. I'm not ready for this.
That's okay. We can revisit it, but it just popped up when I was doing. It's like, because I was thinking, I love the song. I mean, these are two. I'm a more Pac fan than Bruno, but Bruno has hits. Bruno, I mean, and Bruno's,
He's
I
pop.
think his
Right.
live performances are better than we may get on the album. Because the live instrumentation, the whole tribute to Teddy Riley at the Grammys, that was dope. He's got a horn section, all that. So that's like, are they the best? I know the hype around Kendrick and Cole doing the album. I think that the issue with that is it'll be more hype than what we get on track or on what. I think the hype is too big for them to do an album together because everybody wants it. So I don't think it'll ever
That's
happen.
a bad idea, man.
I don't think it'll ever happen.
The Friday the 13th joint, what you had
that was
two.
actually, yeah.
You had two lyricists in there that held their own, I think, against each other, and
yeah, that's a good.
It ended up being great, but
I forgot about that.
But that's like it's tough, especially if we're talking specifically like Kendrick and J. Cole. I think the closest, from two guys that are gonna give it to you lyrically, the closest we're gonna probably get for a while will be that Friday the 13th joint.
I can give you a duo that I would have liked to see together, or but we won't go back to Snoop and Dre. The Chronic was pretty much them two together. So let's just that.
Yeah.
even though Dre was producing and his rhymes were still being written, it was still the best collabo CD that you can play through and through. And you got best of both worlds. But and I know this is gonna be off topic, completely off the cuff. But hear me out. Before she got pregnant, Marsha Ambrosia and Trey Songz would have been retarded adult album R&B album.
Gotta think of their voices together.
Have they done a song together at all?
On her Lovers and Friends, I think he's
okay.
The intro, or he's got a hook on one of them.
Okay.
And, it's their, again, if you will, the raunchy adult kind of R&B. Like I feel like he's always just been the straight up like I like getting it in.
And Trey Songz be having the mixtapes that's just like, you know what I'm saying, like out of here. So I can kind of see that. And then Marsha being like she's like a chameleon, you know what I'm saying? She can kind of sound like anybody. So I feel like there's a lot, opportunity there. Yeah, I can't.
What'd you think about the J&B collab album?
It's an embarrassment of riches, man. Like it's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's like a Michael Jackson and Prince album. Like sometimes it's just too much, which is how I feel about J. Cole and Kendrick. Like it's just gonna be too much, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
They should just, every once in a while give us 2 songs or something.
Jasmine Sullivan and Marsha Ambrosius would be kind of dope too.
I would like to see Jasmine and Ari do a whole album.
Yeah,
when they got the one song that was.
See now, okay, because that we want to get it. I think that song should have been for Ari because her songs are set for her to sing off key, not off key, but off cadence. Jasmine doesn't have that. She's got a longer like vocals, right? Like she has a stronger vocal palette. So if you hear that song, when you hear Ari's verse, it matches up with the way that it's supposed to be sung off key, whereas Jasmine kind of kicks in and it's almost like she's trying to match that, but that's not her range of songs. So I don't know if that would be the other case. The other one would be what was it? Either Marsha and Anthony Hamilton or somebody else. But
we just saw the verses, her and D'Angelo. Like, and I know we just canceled Daniel Caesar. Like her and Daniel Caesar, a whole album would have been dope before he started tripping. You know what I'm saying? Because that one song was crazy, but her and D'Angelo would be crazy.
That is a good one. I would love to see.
Roy like dope. Doja Cat? That don't sound on brand for Roy. I think somebody
Roy loves Doja Cat.
Oh, and by the way, Roy, the reason why I said before she got pregnant is because now she's singing about she's a mom now, so her songs are about
lullabies.
Well, not only that, but it's she's matured in that, where she's not talking about sexing somebody up, and then at the end of the song you realize she was talking about a girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the reason why.
Gotcha. All right. So here we are. This is the point of the show where one of us loses all 3 of us. So, but all right, this is it just E? So
this is definitely gonna piss some people off, and I don't care. That's what it's intended for. I feel like I've kind of got off that path, and trying to make Roya just kind of be along with the crew and accept me for the the podcaster that I am. But is it just me, or in the 90s cartoons that we had, the multitude of cartoons that we had in the 90s, by far Spider-Man and Superman were the worst out of all of them.
I thought you was about to say the best. I was about to jump off this joint.
No, listen. I pulled up because I mean it's so many, but you got Bobby's World, Tailspins, Doug, Ren and Stimpy, Darkwing Duck, Rugrats,
X-Men,
Animaniacs, Bonkers, Beavis and Butthead, Two Stupid
Ninja
Dogs,
Turtles.
Rock Porno's Life. Hold on, The Critic, which was better than all the
Critic was dope. The Critic was
amazing.
dope.
The Critic
Right.
was amazing.
Gargoyles. Then you got The Tick, Pinky and the Brain, Cow and Chicken, like Dexter's Laboratory, Hey Arnold, Arthur, the list, Johnny Bravo, and then Daria. The list goes on and on. These two were garbage. Nobody. I literally had this conversation with the parentals, and I was like, you never saw me on a Saturday morning be like, oh, I'm about to watch Superman or Spider-Man. That shit was horrible.
The Spider-Man joint was one of my favorite shows as a kid. Like, I didn't miss an episode, so I can't be with you on that one. But I didn't really like the Superman one. I feel like the Superman one was kind of riding on the coattails of the Batman the Animated Series, which was amazing. So
yeah, true indeed.
I don't really remember the Superman, but when we're talking, if we're just being nostalgic, the 90s and the cartoons and the late 80s with the cartoons, like that was awesome. That was a great time to be a kid.
I wasn't checking Spider-Man or Superman, I can tell you that though.
Yeah, no, I agree. Not my favorite. There are some of my favorite superheroes, but yeah, the shows didn't hit on much. Not like you said, not when you have Beavis and Butthead.
The Simpsons.
Just look at where the Simpsons.
South
like you
Park.
Said, The Critic, it stinks. That's all he said was. John Lovitz was huge back then too.
I feel like The Critic definitely doesn't get as much love as it should, because I feel like that's the original. That was the original kind of like American Dad.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. It definitely led the way for a few things. Wow, there he is right there.
The Critic doesn't get as much love as it should.
Definitely, and they took it off air. It was the same creators as The Simpsons, but
it was adult. It was a cartoon comedy.
Yeah, exactly. So for all 10 people who are here and watching, you've been waiting, because we've been hyping up this announcement, and now it's time. All right. Yeah. All right, CB, what we got for this copper drop?
So this week on Copper Drop, we are talking about the Air Max 90 Bacons that are being re-released at the end of the month on the 26th. The original release from 2004 is not just as far as Air Max 90s go, but it's one of the most iconic Air Maxes of all time. It was done in collaboration with a boutique called Dave's Quality Meats, which is no longer around. But so I don't actually know what, if any, level of involvement that that original team had with bringing these back. But I have to imagine that these are going to be very, very highly sought after. The packaging looks dope. They've got the sneakers coming in packaging that looks like bacon wood. So this is definitely for me an attempted cop, but I have to imagine, like every other raffle that I've entered in this year, that we know what the result already is.
It's been stupid, man. Just the amount of L-age we've been taking, man.
Right.
Yeah, it's a cop, but like you said, we CB and I have had our sidebar as far as where I'm at with and the whole Nike situation. So
it's a cop. I'm definitely I would attempt for these. I like colors. I mean, I remember the original was definitely classic, and they know what they're doing. I'm prepared to take an L, but I will at least like a chance to get my foot in the door to take an L.
That would be nice. Yeah, don't get that instant sold out, when when you open the app up at 10 a.m. or 7 a.m., wherever you are.
Yep. Dope. All right, time for who's up first.
Let me go ahead and get it out the way.
Okay.
Let me preface by we talk about shoes a lot, right? And what they mean to us.
Yep.
What it is that the backstory is. This one I would like to switch it up due to the new workout regimen of an hour, which is retardedly stupid on my behalf. It is workout in the long run. And Superfly, this definitely is a nod to you. But shout out to, and for every athlete, when you are done working out or playing or doing whatever, and you finally slip on.
Hey.
Listen.
You already know. You talking about language.
Listen, this when I get done with my workout and I press end on my watch, which CB and I have had a conversation about the damn Apple Watches too, not registering your workout. And you hit end, I literally start to unlace my shoes to put my feet in this, is to let you know I am done. This is the I am done for the day. Don't ask me to run another game because I'm not lacing them back up when I have these on. So shout out to the slides when it's all said and done to make your feet feel better.
Bet.
Yeah.
Superfly, you coming to play?
Not tonight, man.
TV.
Talking my language, E.
So everybody that's in here, we haven't made the announcement yet. If you're wondering, we haven't made it yet. CB's getting ready to.
These didn't come in a box; they came in a bag.
Ooh.
That's how you know what time it is.
But you remember a couple weeks ago, we talked about.
First of all, you always wear these with some socks. So let's not get that. We are not funking up the house or the car or the trunk with the slides without this. No, you got to have socks on with these.
But a couple weeks ago, we had profiled some Vans. So I said I was going to cop these. The Vans doing the collab with the Black Cat. With the proceeds going, a portion of the proceeds actually going to the business. And these came in today. So you can see I haven't even laced them up yet. But
those are bad.
Yeah. I was I was pumped to get these in.
I was talking about today. Yeah, what's the tongue? Yeah.
It's got nothing too crazy, but they got all the little Black Cat logo stuff all over the top. So these are definitely I just got to lace them up, and these will be, an everyday.
Dope. Okay. So.
Oh.
Y'all know, if y'all sneakerheads, you know what that box is.
Sheesh.
Hey man, my niece and nephew still going to college, right?
Somebody's stimulus came early, y'all.
But yeah, all 45s.
You didn't answer the question.
People are good. They're good. Nike Air. There you go. So.
Definitely one of the better recent off-whites, in my opinion.
Yep. I mean, sometimes people. Sometimes whatever. But real quick before we getting ready to get out of there, I know everybody's waiting for this announcement. I wanted to.
Yeah.
I wanted to revisit. I want to revisit the subject real quick, just because I thought of something. I thought about something that a group that we hadn't, just like that we hadn't talked about. For two people you want to see work together, do an album together, that haven't necessarily done it yet, and bam, there you go. Here you go. The announcement. Me and CB, our single is dropping tonight at midnight. All on the way to Aspen for me and CB's album, Aspen. We dropping tonight at midnight on Bandcamp and SoundCloud for now. We're working on some issues with Tidal, but yeah, there's your announcement. Did you guess that? Nobody saw that one coming, right?
I didn't see that cover coming, but yeah.
Nobody saw that coming. Now, I will preface this. If you're a fan of Dumb and Dumber, you know where this is from.
Yeah.
Shout out to Roughskins that's on my coat patch too. But shout out to Shannon for the artwork, who does all our artwork. But yeah, midnight tonight, you'll be able to download and listen to. And the name of the group is WRSE. We're gonna keep it in the house. WRSE. Our first singles all on the way to Aspen. CB, how do you feel right now?
Yeah. I'm always excited when there's gonna be more of my own music out. You know, I'm one of those people that I listen to my own shit all the time. So to be able to, go on to SoundCloud or Bandcamp and listen to it rather than, rifling through my emails for the file, like it'll be dope.
Yep. And so for now, when it goes to SoundCloud, it will be on Spotify and iTunes. For now, the little sample issue that we got going on, we don't know how long it's going to be up before it comes back down, but we're going to rectify that, and it will within a week be on Tidal and iTunes to stay if it doesn't get picked to stay because of the little sample issue we have going on. But yeah, that's
nice. Congratulations.
that moped people.
This is like 3 years in the making.
And it's been a while. Like we wrote the album probably about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And we started on it and it never just got it going. Now it's here. It is here. So at midnight, go get our streams up, make this the number one song with streaming for the but yeah, Bandcamp. We are WRSE1 on Bandcamp because apparently there's another WRSE on Bandcamp. And then on SoundCloud, it's going to be on our SoundCloud page, WRSE Podcast. And then which uploads to Spotify automatically as well. So it'll be on all those platforms at midnight.
Nice.
Hey man, salute to y'all for being creative and actually getting it done. You know what I mean, and creatively putting it on wax and doing what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
So we can do. Hopefully, when Superfly does his next Twitch set, he'll show some love to the fellas.
You guys send me the record.
I don't know. It's
I got the original. I don't know. I don't think I have the final version.
No, you don't have to. Yeah, I'll make it put around to you. Yep. Well, it's been in the works for a while. What's the purse? And we do. It's off the love. Got a shoebox in my head. No, it's a briefcase full of money we're taking to Mary and Aspen. And shout out to Sean. Look.
Yep.
Sean, hit us up. Shout out to the Hot Tea Podcast. Season 3 just started today. I believe it dropped today. Yeah, I saw it. Shout out to Sean for inviting us in his COVID safe home and allowing us to record and mixing and mastering the there's other records he has too, but this one for us that's ready to go. So shout out to Sean. We thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you. So yeah, in about an hour and 10 minutes, whoever's still up.
If you start watching Coming to America right now, you'll be right towards the end and perfect timing to.
So in order to get some of the there you are. I was wondering if my mom was in here. There we go. Yeah, that's the announcement. You never saw that one coming. I told her all that. She got all the clues together, but she couldn't put together what happened in Aspen. And now we're going to tell you. But yeah, if you need to get the references, watch Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
The whole album got a lot of Dumb and Dumber references.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's just make it happen. So with that, another show in the bag, fellas. This last comment. In a Tuesday.
Because we're getting your weekend started right. That's
Exactly. All the drops are on Fridays now. Thank Jay-Z for that when he started releasing his album on Black Friday.
I mean, they got those dunks dropping tomorrow. Don't forget that. If people are logging on sneakers and you're not interested, but you want to go for a size 10, you know,
I'll let your boy.
I got you with the finder's fee.
Word.
All right, y'all. That's it. Get something else.